Hello, good afternoon to everyone out there. Today, for a change in this video, we'll be making a simple vase or vase, as you can see in the photo. We actually have this at our place, and our student has recreated the model using Creo and Catia. So let us try to show you how it works out in our training sessions. We'll be taking a basic route and not make it as complicated as it is. We'll just try to make the exact replica using Catia. Now we have two components here. This is the actual vase which sits on this, and this is the frame. Let us begin by making the frame and then slowly getting into the other parts or the vase. Now, I'd like to use both the screens, so I'm just using this. It is actually a combination of both part design and surfacing. In surfacing, we'll be only using the controlling of our curves, not the surface module as such. We'll be completely working only on the wireframe. So to begin with, let's start with our part design. We already have part. Now, in this one, I'd like to start with the base, make the support first, and then make these, and then join them together. Now, beginning with that, let us try to take the top view. Since the base is a circle, I'd like to start with a circle, assuming the dimensions. We have actually measured the dimensions, so I'm just taking it as per those. You can follow, or you can also change the dimensions as per your convenience. This is a complete cylindrical base. So I need to take a plane, so I can simply start using my rib command. And while taking a plane, I'll make it normal to the curve. I have a curve, but there is one problem is that I don't have a point. So I'd like to create a point by using create a point. Here on the curve, select the curve. You can either give ratio of the length, or you can actually give it as 1 and say OK. Now on this, you can actually unhide the point as well, there's no problem. On this, we'll make the sketch. I'm again taking the sketch. This is actually my reference. That is the reason I have unhidden the point, and then I'd be making this circle. Now the circle is actually towards the bottom. It's not exactly in line with this because the curve whichever is taking is actually varying. So the base is standing in line with the groove where the base can sit on. This is the visible view what we have seen, and I'm taking the dimensions. I'll give it around 6 and maintain the tendency with this line. Exit. To add material to these type of profiles, you can use rib. Since a uniform cross section is following the complete path, you can directly select this, select the center curve and say OK. It normally adds the profile. Now, coming to the base, there is a rectangular portion here and then a circular portion. So let me try to make that rectangular portion as well, under considering the right view at the moment. Now I'd like to make the rectangular portion here, exactly located at the center, which is at a distance of 1 from this side. And 5 from this side and 4. Okay, maybe take 5. I need to maintain it symmetrically. That's why I'm trying to take the dimensions. I have not personally measured the dimensions. Exit the workbench. Now I'd like to add this. I'll be using a pad. To add it, you can add it up to next and onto the other side too. Now, between this circle and the rectangular bar, there is a very small circle which actually joins these two. So I'd like to take that circle as well. I'll take it of the same size. I'll take it of the same size as the rectangle, with considering I'll just coincide the center. And then tangency with this. This is only up to around 3 or 4, so I'll just try to give it as 3 or 4, as you can see. Now, the other main portion or the circle where it is sitting on is actually on this. So let me try to flip it and then take this as my reference and start working on my circle. Center. Let me take it as 84. This is your circle. Once I exit, I'll only add it up to around 6 mm and let it go. This is your pattern. Now, since this is supposed to be hollow, I'd like to use shell and then give it up to around 2 mm. But the material also shells here, so I can just add extra material to not shell it there and leave it probably a little bit more, and then leave it this way. You can also exclude the surfaces in shell, but there is an issue here. It might not create the exclusion perfectly. Now, main thing is to create this shape. So let us begin making the shape. I'd like to use my top plane first. I have 8 of these bars, so I'm going to divide them properly and then work on it. So this is my reference, this is my 0, 0. I'd like to maintain it at 36 because I have 8 and 360 by 8. I was talking 360 and I pressed 360. I'm so sorry. Now, on the same plane, I'd like to create a point. The point will be in line with the center circle. Actually, I'll just unhide the sketch and use this as my reference. It's a little more easier for me to do so. And then I'd like to create a point exactly at the intersection using my 3D point. This is your 3D point. Let me hide these so it won't create an issue later. This is my 3D point. Similarly, I'd like to use pattern of this. Of course, because we require 8 of them. So under start in mechanical design, you have wireframe and surface design. Over here, you can actually create a pattern to the points. We can actually use rotation to do so. I have already selected the sketch. My axis is Z axis. You can see it begins moving it, and then since I want it, I'll just give it as such. I want 8 of them, so I'm repeating this after the object and giving it 8. You can see the preview if you want, it gives 8. Actually, I don't want the last one, I'll just delete this. You can see 7 of them. Now, in this, we'd work one after the other. We know these are at a certain distance. So let's try to take points at those distance being in your surfacing module only. Let me try to maximize the screen and then start working. This is your 0, 0 at the moment. I wanted to move it in Z direction to around 40. As you can see, if I take the front view, you can see that this is at a distance of 40. Similarly, I have another point as well. Assuming this is at a distance of 60. Let me try to take another point. This is my I have actually taken for this only. This is my second coordinate, and I want this to be at a distance of 60. Same. Let me continue at 80. I'll do it a little bit fast. You can see it a little slow if you're interested. It's just pretty much the same process. I'm sorry. This is easier for me to understand what's happening. The last point is this one, where it goes up to 212. These are my curves. I can actually create a curve, which is pretty easy if you want. But let me try to show you how to create that too. You can use your 3D spline to simply select all the points. It helps you create the curve. It helps you create a 3D curve again. So when I say OK and then go back into your 3D view, you can see how it creates it. Let me continue creating it. Then you can see how it looks like. You can show you with the top view as well. This is your top view. Now, I'd like to go back to my part design and work on it. Let me try to do that. Going back into my part design. Now over here, I'd like to add material from here to here first and then proceed further. So let me try to take a plane parallel to the point and then in parallel with this. On this, I'd like to make the sketch and start addition of material. Now here also I'll be using surfacing. It's a little more easier for me to do it that way. Exit. I want to add material to this. Before that, I'll go back into my wireframe and surface design and I need multiple copies of these as well. So I'll be using multiple copies of these using similar rotation what we have done earlier. I'll say repeat after object and I would require 7 and then it creates all the 7. Here you can go back into your part design or you can write your command here which is C to pad to add the material, which is also easy. There's no issue with that. Now let's start adding. This is the first one. There are tricks of doing this in a shortcut manner which you can learn once you come and join us. And actually simply use a pattern and change them too. Just 1 second. I think there's some mismatch over here. This is 160. This is supposed to be 180. It went off directly to 200. It's probably why the shape went a little here and there. Great. These are your frames. As you can see over here, this is the frame. Now, to the frame, you can actually start adding the material as well. So when you're trying to add material, you can directly use a rib command. It's a little easier to do so. On this, I'd like to make a sketch first before using the rib command as usual. I'll be using my references and then I'll be making my profile. Now this should add throughout the profile. You can see it tries to add. This is your actual frame. Now, you can delete the unwanted faces too if you want. As you can see, it helps you cover them. This is your complete frame. Measuring the inner radii of this is actually 40. So let us try to take a new part. Save this first and let's try to take a new part. In this, let's try to create the actual vase. Vase is again very easy. Now that we have seen the radii is supposed to be 40, that means the diameter is 80. We can take it as 80. We can control the height after going into the model as well. There is no problem with that. You can shell the body too. I'll give 2 mm thickness and shell it. Let us save the part 2. Now, we can start by making the assembly by keeping them two together. Now, let's try to bring the model here. First, let us try to bring the frame and keep it. As you can see, this is the frame. You have to fix it first since this is the first component. You can join these as well using your delete command. If you delete face command if you want, it will just create a pretty good shape. You can save it as well. Going back into your product, you can see it gets updated. Now let us call the second product which has to be placed in between the center here. So let's call that too. Let's move it using our manipulation and then start constraining. After constraining, let us try to see if the height is okay for us. If it's not, then we'll try to change the dimension. This is solely based on the reverse engineering of a physical model we have in front of us. You can see that the height does not really match with that. Let's try to increase it. Under part, you can get back into your pad and then start increasing the height. Maybe take it up to 150. Maybe 140. That should do. Just go back into your isometric view. You can see the model. Then you can get back into your product. This is your assembly of your complete model. You can of course hide anything you want. For example, I don't want the points. I can simply hide the points as well. I don't want the curves. I can hide the curves as well. Actually, if I don't want anything, I can hide everything too. But I need them, so I'm just not going to hide anything at the moment. You can hide your planes if you want. This is the assembly of a simple vase which we have seen in the picture. You can also give it a try. We can also try with various models we have right in front of us. Let me know if you have also tried making such model or post your results with us. If you want to know more tips and tricks on how to use a different pattern to make these kind of structures, etc., you can always join us. Our details are given in the description below. Thank you. Please like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.